Hello guys! So I'm here today to actually share my own experience of how I learned Chinese language. How did I improve my Chinese while I actually studied an English taught program in China? When I came to China was in 2012 to study my bachelor's degree. So I was accepted to the University of International Business and Economics in Beijing in the program of Bachelor in International Trade and Economics. And my program was fully taught in English. So I didn't need to know any Chinese to enroll to the program. So when I saw my class schedule, of course, everything was in English. All the classes were in English. But luckily, actually, we had Chinese language classes like 3 hours per week. Of course, I would say it's not enough at all to speak fluent Chinese if you only study 3 hours of Chinese per week. Can you imagine? So, even though I was enrolled in a bachelor's program, I had many friends in a Chinese language program. So they would study at least 20 to 30 hours of Chinese, intensive Chinese, to actually learn to speak Chinese within 1 year, like to the level of HSK 4 or 5. So you can see that 3 hours per week was not enough at all. So what I needed to do was that I needed to learn Chinese. I was in China, but my program was taught in English, but I really wanted to learn Chinese. So I think for everyone who is in China, the most amazing thing is that you learn from the environment. You literally learn from the environment. You go to the shopping mall, you want to buy something, you will have to speak Chinese. They will keep speaking Chinese to you. So you will have to at least understand what they're saying. And even if you want to go to the restaurant in China, right? You will have to order something. Even if you will be pointing, at least you will have to learn some words day by day. When you go to the supermarket, you want to buy Coca-Cola, right? And Coca-Cola is not called Coca-Cola in Chinese. So this kind of small things, you want to buy chocolate ice cream, you cannot find it. You have to ask someone. Environment of China, wherever you go, in the subway, wherever you go, you have the environment to learn Chinese. That's the best thing of being in China while you learn Chinese. The environment itself, they teach you. It's very important to have a purpose when you want to learn Chinese. If you want to work in China after your graduation, you will need to learn Chinese, right? If you want to work in China, you cannot expect everyone in China to speak English to you. So you definitely need to speak Chinese. And even if your purpose is go back to your own country, and if you want to go back to your country and you want to do something related to China, if you will have Chinese clients, if you will work in a Chinese company, or even if you want to work as a translator because you studied in China, you will need to learn Chinese. So I really wanted to work in China. So in order to work in China, I knew that the first thing I need to do is learn Chinese fluently so that on the workplace, whenever I go out, I can speak fluently what I'm thinking, express myself even in a business world, even in a outside world. So I would say for students who want to learn Chinese, it's very important to know your own purpose of studying. If you don't have a purpose of why you would want to study Chinese, then it's gonna be pretty tough for you because learning a new language is still a challenge. You have to keep pushing yourself every day. When you have a purpose, you can push yourself every day because you know what you're working for. But if you don't have a purpose, you will study first day, second day, third day, maybe after 1 week you will stop, maybe after 1 month you will stop. Learning a language is a practice. You will have to learn it day by day. It's actually really important for you to find your own way of learning a language. So for example, I cannot now tell you what is the best way for you to learn Chinese because everybody have their own ways of learning. Some people, they learn by listening. When they go out with people, when they talk to people, they actually learn Chinese. And some people, they're learning by reading, by their eyes. They have really good eyes memory. Whenever they see a character, whenever they see a word, they memorize it. So it's very easy for them to learn it that way. So you need to find your own way. Try many different ways. Reading ways, right? Listening ways. Or if you learned another language before, you already have experience of how you learn a language. But which way was more suitable for you? So for example, for me, I have a memory skills, as I told you, by writing and by reading. So I would memorize at least 100 characters per day by writing them and memorizing them by my eyes. And that was the most suitable way for me to learn because I'm not a good learner by listening. If someone tells me one word in Chinese, I will say it at that time. But if I don't see the character, if I don't see it again, I will forget the word next time when someone tells me. Another great way of learning Chinese language or any other language is actually to follow your hobby. So, what is your hobby? Do you like to watch movies? Do you like to listen to music? Do you like to watch football? Do you like to read magazines? It can be anything. It can be even cooking. Like, just follow your hobby. Just do it in Chinese language. That's what I would say. It's a very interesting way of learning a new language. For example, for me, I really like to listen to music and watch movies. So I started to listen to Chinese songs. And of course, in the beginning, like when you don't know Chinese, like you will just like see the characters and you're like, oh my God, what is it? And then like, I just like, because I really like the lyrics of the songs, I just sat down and translated the most popular songs in China, just wanted to know the meaning. And then I start to like it. Like the more I listened, I start to like it more. And after having some basic Chinese, after having some basics of 1 month, I started to watch movies in Chinese because I really like movies. First, I watched American movies in Chinese because it's like they use easier language to talk because it's actually translated. So first I would watch American movies in Chinese. Then I started Chinese series. In the beginning, I would say I would only understand 5% of the movie just because I know the basics, because they use like the hello, how are you, thank you, these words you understand, how you order things you understand. But the movie, I think it had like 35 series, and in the end of the movie I could at least understand 50% of the movie. So I would say from my experience, using my own hobby to learn a Chinese language was very useful for me. So my last tip for you today on how to learn Chinese is actually to take Chinese language classes. And because of the situation right now, many Chinese top universities, they are actually teaching Chinese language online. So because like I have learned Chinese like from the beginning, and I know like if you are really trying to learn Chinese from the scratch, if you even don't know how to write ni hao in Chinese, the basics in Chinese, then it's very difficult, almost close to impossible. I wouldn't say it's impossible, it's very difficult to learn it by yourself from scratch. It's better to learn the basics of Chinese, at least with a professional teacher who taught for many years for international students like you. So I would highly encourage you to sign up for Chinese language classes, at least for the basics. Because like when I was in UIBE, because I had 3-hour classes per week, I was taught basics every week. So I already had the basics. That's why I could self-learn, use my hobby and a lot of things together to improve my language to the level I have today. So that's why I would say it's very important for you to take a Chinese language class for the beginners. So if you are interested to take classes from the top professional in the top Chinese universities, I will put the link below where you can check the programs. We have different programs, one-to-one programs, group programs, where they can teach you Chinese from the beginning. We also have programs for already intermediate Chinese language speakers, even advanced speakers. So if you want to enroll to the Chinese language program today, please click on the link. And that's for today, and thank you for listening to me.